Well, good morning. Hello, Freddie. Don't forget to unmute the microphone. Hello. And welcome everyone to the Tori and Freddie show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, although I'm envious of you. You've just been making, we're nice and close now. Banana bread, yum.
Yeah, but I burnt it. It was like when I came back in right now, I was like, oh no, all this smoke is coming up, even though I stopped the oven. So, but I don't know if it was because I used that, what's that, canola spray, like Pam?
Oh, yeah, Pam. I've forgotten about Pam. We don't call it Pam in Australia. We do call it canola. But that's an interesting recipe. I think you should do a little video for our channel on how to make that, because do you use frozen bananas? Oh.
No.
Hang on.
What are you doing? What are you watching?
that was another
Tori's hip-hop routines.
Yeah, it's a little bit of music, which might, remember that music, because our topic today is sexy time okay right now, which is a question I think a lot of people probably have about this whole coronavirus pandemic. Can we get it on?
Well, we've been saying that, I keep hearing it everywhere. A lot of babies are being made in this 2-week quarantine that's probably going to go on for 1 month. So,
yeah, well, you'd like to. Well, we had the little idea of the quarantines that Joe gave us, as in quarantine, EENS, quarantine. So in 2033, all these teenagers that were conceived during this. But after what we chatted about this morning, maybe that theory is going to go out the window, unless there are a lot of men on the planet that have got 1.5 meters long penises.
I think it won't matter.
Look at me. I said penis 5 minutes into our live.
Yeah, I know. How vulgar. Stop your vulgarity.
Morning, Kylie. It is a little bit fancy this morning, and let's make it even fancier. Let's create a banner. Is sexy time okay?
How about you say intimacy during quarantine? Oh no, we don't want to say quarantine. What do we want to say?
Well, I'm doing exactly what the subject of our live is. We're going straight to sexy time. I mean, I didn't say
intimacy
is fucking okay right now. I went with sexy time.
I thought intimacy was nice.
Well, we didn't decide on intimacy yesterday, and sexy time. I could put on some copyright-free music to get us in the mood, Freddie. Make you loosen up a little.
No. No more music.
No, copyright-free. They've got a whole audio library for us to use.
No, because it's music is one of those things that turns people off if it's not something they like. So let's just talk about it.
You're such a bubble of positivity and joy this morning.
Well, I'm wanting to dive right in instead of playing music. You love music. I noticed that. You're always wanting to play music every episode. You've noticed that?
Yeah, I do love music. And part of our keeping anxiety at bay, one of the main suggestions that I'm volunteering as an option is listen to music, because it is so good for you. Put on artists that you love and stream them like crazy. And the benefits are twofold. One, it's going to help you manage your anxiety. And two, you're going to be financially supporting the artists you love. So, they can't do live concerts on tours at the moment. So if you are streaming them, you'll be helping them make a bit of an income during this pandemic.
Speaking of streaming live concerts, Erica Badu's doing a $1 concert. I saw.
Okay. And
Yeah,
also,
during quarantine time.
rest in peace, Kenny Rogers, too. We lost him yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm. I was listening to him in the bath. I always listen to music in the bath, and I had him on, and the number of people on my Facebook page who said "Islands in the Stream."
I have to say, I don't know one Kenny Rogers song.
Don't you get that joke though? Like he has got a song called "Islands in the Stream." I put on Facebook that I was listening to Kenny in the bath, and heaps of my friends put "Islands in the Stream" with a question mark. Do you get it?
No.
They're talking about my boobies being islands and the bathwater being the stream. Islands in the stream.
You can't ask someone who doesn't have boobies to get that reference.
You're such a tough crowd. Well, I hate to say it, but at least 3 of the people that asked if it was islands in the stream were male friends of mine. So, yeah. Kylie says, sexy time 1.5 meters away. What does that look like? It looks like a man with a very long pole. And yeah, you got to know when to hold them. And at the moment, holding them is not a good idea. Let's do a quick wrap up of the latest stats, Freddie. Overnight, horrible statistics. Countries still being heavily hit. Italy, the worst. It's devastating. I'll screen share our stats.
Okay, good. I was just about to ask you to do that. You read my mind.
I'm onto it, man.
I was like, how come I don't see any chat? Because
are you in StreamYard looking at chat?
Yeah, now I can see it because I was on the private side. That's was like I don't see anything. Oh look, Karen didn't get it either.
Good morning. Oh, Karen didn't get you to the stream either. But good morning, Carly, and welcome. So that's an interesting thing on the side. Don't lotion after hand wash. Don't put hand lotion on after. Huh?
I said, I've always learned that. That shouldn't be new.
Well, not everyone's you, Freddie. I mean, just look at all the dickheads at Bondi Beach the other day, you know. So here's the current stats. We've now gone over 300,000 coronavirus cases globally. They are scary numbers, Karen. 304,601. We've now had 13,000 deaths, right on the 13,000, and the recovered there of 94,793. Just scrolling down and looking at the countries hardest hit, and unfortunately for Italy, it's not getting any better. But one thing I think you'll notice, especially for the Americans have joined us yet, USA has spiked significantly and is now 4th in the world. China, no new cases. That's good news. But look at Italy's. I can't deal with it. It's just heartbreaking. Absolutely really? Heartbreaking. Spain is really struggling at the moment as well, with another 285 deaths overnight. But look at the USA, Freddie. It's really starting to take off there, and they keep referring to coronavirus epicenters, and it started off obviously in Wuhan in China. Now Italy is the epicenter, and I'm concerned for America, mate. I think, it looks like at some point that whole epicenter could shift, although unfortunately Europe is still spiking, and the UK, which isn't on the screen, but I'll scroll down, they're starting to get some pretty major spikes happening as well.
Oh, wow. But these numbers should reset in about 50 minutes, so we should come back and see what the new tally is.
Yeah, we will. We always do a wrap-up for any Australians in the chat, and I know there's at least one that I spotted before, maybe 2. We have had 144 new cases overnight, or in the current 24-hour block. We will, like Freddie said, have another look at the end of the show, because it does refresh while we're live. But even just in Tassie, we had 5 new cases overnight, and they're all people that have come back to Tasmania who got off a cruise ship. Mm. Is this the end of cruise ships, Freddie? No more Love Boat?
No, I will still be going on cruises as soon as possible, because those prices will be dirt cheap.
there's a silver lining. There's a silver lining.
Yes.
So there's a little update. I'm just going to drop that out. And the other thing is I'll just do a really quick rundown of the sort of 4 or 5 major stories. The Italy death toll yesterday climbed 793 deaths in one day. Yeah, have you been?
It's really important that we go to Canberra first, and our political reporter Fiona Willard.
Sorry, it's not really important we go to Canberra first.
I wish you would have said it was really important if we go to Freddie right now.
Hi, NYC Urbanista. Welcome. Just on that, my second major story is that New York has been declared a disaster zone. I'm about to sneeze. Just chat with the punters. Freddie Wallet.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Oh, no, we've lost Tori to coronavirus.
Sneezing
and more random to Tori. Actually, is really surprising, though, is seeing on the news now is because of the urgent outbreaks that they're limiting respirators for the elderly. So a lot of countries have just an age limit. I saw today on the news that Spain is apparently 65 years old. You won't be getting a respirator. The UK is 70, and I believe in Italy it's 80. So I don't know what the current number is going to be in France if it gets to that number. It's unfortunate, though.
It's very sad, Freddie, but it's not a very I'll find a little cheery story and then we'll get into sexy time, I think. We'll look at some of that stuff a bit later. It's so heartbreaking, and that's the reality of it. And I was fairly vocal on Twitter last night about the kids that were justifying being at the beach the other day in Australia and justifying being out and about in Florida on spring break. And they're all
what were they saying in Australia? The kids on Twitter, what were they saying?
Well, the kids in Australia and the kids in Florida were pretty much saying the same thing. We're young, we're fit, we're not going to get it. And it's like, you're going to get it. You might survive it. You may not. There's plenty of stats coming out about people, healthy 20-somethings and 30-somethings who are dying from it. But how about thinking about your elderly family members and vulnerable members in society for a change? Like
even some of their moms and dads.
I
said, or even some of their mom and dads, because some people have kids late in life.
Well, not even late in life, Freddie. There's people dying in every single age group. So, and I mean, it's just revolting. And I keep hoping that Empathy 2020 is going to become the viral hashtag. But when you've got these little twats going out and doing that, and when they're asked to explain it, they're going, oh, well, we're young and we're fit, we're not going to get sick and we're entitled to enjoy our lives. Yeah, the entire population of the world's entitled to enjoy their lives, you selfish little fucker. Anywho, just a few more major headlines. So, yeah, we've had Italy, unfortunately. And have you been to Italy, Freddie?
Of course I have. I love Italy.
Yeah, I've never been, and it's a country I've always wanted to go to, and it's breaking my heart that every day I just get more and more upset. The other thing that's really upsetting me is pictures from around the world of beautiful, precious elderly populations standing in front of empty shelves in supermarkets. That's another story. In the UK, they're getting very strict on making sure that all of our nurses and doctors, or their nurses and doctors, are able to get food, because these poor buggers are finishing 18, 20-hour shifts and then going to the supermarket to buy dinner and the shelves are bare.
Shouldn't they have a canteen?
Well, they do when they're at the hospital, but if they've finished an 18, 20-hour shift, they want to go home and they want to be able to eat food when they're at home. They don't have a canteen at home.
No, I was just thinking if they're at work, they probably more than likely eat there.
Well,
a lot of doctors I know that are on call and things like that will just end up just sleeping in the hospital. They have dormitory rooms.
They're using those rooms, Freddie. You're missing they're using those rooms now. And the other thing is they don't get to eat. These people are working 18 hours straight without a break.
Yeah.
It's really horrible. So and that's what I'm saying. I mean, there wouldn't be a massive push in countries like England saying, can you please let our nurses and doctors eat food if it wasn't an issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New York has been declared.
But going back to that, though, they still haven't called a quarantine there. So I don't understand what the problem is. If it's that urgent, then they should call their quarantine.
But that's the whole point. It's not quarantined yet, so people are out and about trying to buy food. I don't know why you're arguing about this.
I'm not arguing with you.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm just saying. They're deciding that they're not doing a quarantine because obviously for them it's not as risky as everyone else is thinking. So that's what's happening now. People are still shopping. People are still living there. People are still out and about, mixing, spreading, and they haven't decided to pull a quarantine so that those numbers can be reduced.
No, well, that's a separate issue. But that's a separate issue. But because it's not quarantine, people are able to go to supermarkets, and people in the medical profession are finishing 18-hour shifts without any breaks and trying to buy food on their way home, and they can't because the supermarkets are bare. Like, we're talking about two completely different things.
For me, it's one and the same.
I don't see how. If they're not quarantined,
if they're not quarantined, it's not a serious enough issue for them. Everywhere else is quarantined in Europe.
It's a serious issue the world over.
But you're not hearing what I'm saying. For them, they've decided that they're not going to quarantine yet or at all. I mean, they released that herd immunity, and they've taken no other steps to counteract any possible spread.
Correct. That's a decision of their government. I don't get why this is.
That's what I'm saying. The doctors work for the NHS, which is a government institution. It's all connected for me. It's not a private practice doctor who's just like deciding that they're going to go home now and then. I mean, these are people who are working for the government. And then at the same time, it's like, oh, well, you people need to stop. But it should be a whole, bubble. It should be all together.
I'm getting messages from a friend of mine in England talking about his doctor friends that they're delivering food to. And I think it's tragic that people are going into supermarkets and clearing the shelves and not thinking about all of our emergency services, our medical professions, and people that are giving up their own lives to keep other people alive. And I'm not blaming the UK government for it. I'm blaming the people that are raiding all the shelves and not thinking of the community.
I disagree with you there.
Clearly, but I think we need to move on because this was meant to be a fun show about, is it okay for sexy time right now, not a debate on...
Stop right there, because it turn into, if I disagree, that it's not fun. I'm being serious that for me, it's not really an issue, but it's the reality.
But this is the problem, Freddie. Like, this issue is a global issue, and you can either think of it in a global community kind of way, or you can think in a it doesn't affect me, so I don't give a shit way.
No, that's nothing of what I'm saying. Because one of my best friends who I talk to daily is a doctor in the UK. And when he told me that he was going to work, and I said, how heroic? And you know what his reply to me was? No, it is not heroic. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor. So this is what I'm doing. And I thought that was a really nice thing of him to say. Instead of saying, oh, yes, I'm a hero, he said, no, I literally wanted to be a doctor. This is what I signed up for. This is what I want to do. So
that's exactly right. And they also took an oath that their role on the planet is to keep people alive. And there have been stories coming out of all different parts of the world. There was a very sad story out of China yesterday with a 29-year-old female doctor with a 2-year-old son who caught coronavirus, and like a lot of other doctors around the world, refused to be treated so that someone else could, and she lost her life. But I also think they're entitled to eat.
Yes, but I like I said, in this case, I think that the government should put everyone into quarantine so that they're not having to work like that and not be able to find food and things like that, so they can live like everyone else.
And like I said, that's another discussion about the UK government. But, our government's been criticized. Huh?
I said I disagree.
I'm letting go of this because this is not what this show was meant to be about, and it's pointless. I mean, our government's been criticized for crappy decisions too, but to blame the doctors in the UK because they work for the government doesn't make sense.
See, again, you're twisting what I said around. I did not blame the doctors. I've been saying the government needs to do a quarantine. I didn't say the doctors need to call a quarantine. Completely different.
Well, Empathy 2020 is all I care about at the moment.
And what was the other story that you wanted to follow?
Damn it, it doesn't. Oh, here we go. Time to move on. Okay, people. How's everyone in chat? If anyone's still with us? Oh, yeah, we've got a few. At NYC, let's have a look at some comments from chat. I'm going to scroll back up. Actually, there's been a lot of chat. The average age of deaths in Italy is 75. So horrible. It's so sad. It's like a whole generation in every country has the potential to be completely wiped out. And, you know, I wish in Australia, one of my criticisms of Australia is a lot of younger people now, the ageism is so full on. And I wish we were more like Asian countries like Japan and China, where the elderly are revered and people spend time with their grandparents being taught things and listening. And, you know, one of my greatest regrets, Freddie, is that I didn't pay as much attention to conversations with my grandparents. I did pay attention to a lot. I did learn a lot from them, but if I could do my time again, I would listen to every word they said. And when you were chatting the other day about your grandma in Texas, you know, I'm so envious that you've still even got a grandparent. I haven't had grandparents since I was in my 20s, but I do anything now at this age where learning from older people and inheriting their wisdom is so valuable. It's a shame. I mean, what do they say? Youth is wasted on the young. And it's so true, because we spend all of our times like the kids on Bondi Beach or the kids in Florida thinking about ourselves. And yeah, if I could change anything in my life, it would have been to learn more from my parents and my grandparents. How do you feel about that?
I was lucky that I've always been close with both my grandmas. I lost both grandpas before I was born, but to have them both, I'm still lucky, because I mean, obviously I talked to them both. And just like, I can say, like, my grandma's like my best friend. Like, she knows everything in my life. You know, we joke together. We think the same. We talk about who we're going to vote for. And we don't always agree on things, and we argue about like politics and things, but I mean, it's in a good way. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's amazing the insight a grandma can give you about yourself that you don't even realize she knows, because you haven't said it, but she still sees it. And that's always a really nice thing.
Yeah. No, we'll make the most of it, Groover, because, and it sounds like you do anyway. I mean, the fact that you referred to your grandma as your best friend is really lovely. Yeah. And I think, you know, when I was on the beach the other day, I'm overwhelmed by the number of people on the planet that are just losing family members, and just, you know, the planet's grieving. And this thing's still unraveling, and so many people are just going to be absolutely well, they are devastated. I mean, you know, the people with coronavirus in Italy, for example, there was an Italian doctor the other night saying they're dying alone, which is heartbreaking anyway. But also the families don't get a chance to say goodbye. They're not able to be in the hospital with them while they're still alive, and they don't get to farewell them. And, you know, in Italy, where they do get to take the corpse home and dress it and have it in a room and let everyone come and say goodbye, and there'd be a lot of other cultures that have similar practices. It's just heartbreaking.
I want to send you a video that you can play of a pensioner in Spain, and she's a grandma, pretty much, talking about what's going on there. And it's hectic. These people, it's exactly what you said. These people are alone, and they don't have anyone to turn to.
No.
Because they're over a certain age, they really can't, you know, I mean, they can't get respirators. They can't get beds. It's just like they're being left to die should they, you know, take a turn for the worse. I never thought I'd see that.
Sorry. Does it have captions?
I believe that some of it was written in English.
Just saying her face is breaking my heart, Freddie.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play
this
while we're talking about grandparents. And you know what's really sad? My instinct just then was, if you've got your grandparents, hug them close. And that's another reality of this. You can't hug people.
No, you can't. You risk infecting them.
You do. All right, I'm going to play this. This is an Instagram video. I'm hoping we don't get any issues with playing it, but I don't really care.
She took it herself with her own phone, so it shouldn't be I think she wanted to get the word out.
Yeah, okay, let's put this on. It goes for 1:45. I'm going to expand it. I'm going to get rid of us, Freddie.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Necesitamos ayuda. Leganés se está muriendo. No hay sitio en el hospital. Está a tope. Mi marido ya nos han dicho que está muy grave y que necesita UCI y respirador. Pero no hay sitio, que tenemos que esperar a que se nos muera. Iban a bajarle que había quedado un hueco y se han tenido que meter a uno de 44 años porque ya está viendo selección como hace muchos años en un país tuvieron que hacer. Me parece muy fuerte. Un audio indicando de que han tenido que cerrar el hospital, que van a poner un hospital de campaña, están los militares. Esto es una vergüenza a nivel nacional. Esto no hay derecho. Tienen derecho a vivir porque han trabajado y porque ahora estamos en nuestros mejores años y nos están quitando la vida de nuestros familiares. Esto no puede ser. Por favor, respiradores, ayuda. Dotar a los hospitales. Los médicos no pueden hacer más. Están saturados, están fatal. Es una pena por lo que están pasando. Van a acabar mal. El que no les enferme va a acabar de la cabeza, pero muy mal, porque tienen que estar haciendo selección entre edades, entre los menores de 65 y los mayores de 65. Esto es una pena. Yo creo que el gobierno tiene que pensar cómo lo está viendo. Necesito.
Yeah. So basically, she was saying they needed help.
I was just going to say you speak Spanish, so you need to translate for the rest of us because.
So basically, she was saying she needed help. Her husband is sick. That they need help, and they're not getting help from anyone. They've been abandoned. And it's awful. I mean, you can see the pain in her face. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking. I mean, like I said, even just the still photograph of her at the start broke my heart. I'm just going to chat and then we'll maybe go on to our topic, which was going to hopefully provide a bit of fun and laughter, but it just maybe not. It just seems so inappropriate. But I feel like we do need to keep everyone laughing and smiling through this. I mean, the graphic reality of it, it's important we know about that. But we're also potentially all going to be quarantined and at home. Yeah. And if we can provide a little bit of light entertainment and a window to some things to do at home and some fun things as well. But, yeah, it just – I mean, that woman, there's millions of people in the world right now that would be in exactly the same predicament.
Yeah. There's a lot of people like that. I mean, I can imagine what the feeds are in Italy that are probably exactly like this.
I've seen some horrible things coming out of Italy, just absolutely heartbreaking as well. And, from all age groups and, young people that have lost everyone in their family. And I just wish that some of these young kids that are being so glib about it and, the kids that are partying their butts off in Florida, the kids that were all over the beach in Australia the other day, I wish they would just watch this stuff and realise that you can't be selfish right now. This isn't about them. It's not about this me generation is bullshit. If they wipe out their whole family, is there going to be any remorse for their stupidity? I don't know how anyone on the planet can not be moved by videos like that one, Freddie, and not think about their behaviour.
Yeah. Well, it really does suck that's happening. But I think it's just one of those things. A lot of times we just don't realize what's going on, at that age when it's happening. Even though we're aware of the world, we still have that growth to do. I mean, I don't know if everyone is there at such a young age so quickly. I think it's just, something you learn as you grow up, and depending on how you were raised.
Because this is such an exceptional thing, I think that accelerated growth in thinking, I'm hoping that accelerated growth in thinking is going to be a side effect of this. Like, we've learned things throughout our lives at a pace as and when things have been occurring. So if something like this had happened to us in our 20s, I would like to think that we were still, our brains were still functioning well enough at that age that we would have had accelerated growth in our thinking and maybe gone, shit, this is a massive wake-up call, and, you know, this isn't all about me. I mean, it's sad if people don't grow at whatever age they are. But anyway, we'll have a look at some of the chats and then we'll talk about our topic. Like Kylie said, nobody's exempt from getting it. It is very scary. I think NYC is now no longer with us, unfortunately, in chat, but the doctors are no longer being tested in New York. And there's so many doctors and nurses are losing their lives, and there's just never-ending stories of selflessness coming out about doctors and nurses losing their lives to let other people live. There's a sexy time thing.
It's really important that we go to Canberra first, and our political reporter, Fiona Willan-Fee. We're expecting...
That woman really wants us to go to Canberra first, Freddie.
No, I don't know. I'm trying to find where you are.
I've scrolled up. I'm just looking at some of the comments from further up in chat.
Okay, here we go.
About them. I mean, a state of a disaster zone has been declared for New York City, which is pretty scary. They've halted testing to preserve their supplies. It's just, and the people that are having to make these decisions, you know, how are they feeling about it? It's just, I mean, to have to make those calls, like the doctors in Italy that are, patients are rocking up and like you were saying in Spain, that have to say, sorry, you're elderly, you're compromised, and we have to try and save the healthy people. I mean,
I wonder if they can make that personal call, or is that like the Minister of Health who makes the call for the country, as in our resources are limited, so we're only going to do it this way. But I wonder if they can override it.
Yeah, that's an interesting question that I don't know. I mean, Italy has just shut down, a breaking story. Italy has, their Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte has just announced a total shutdown of the country's economy. So the only things that remain open are supermarkets, pharmacies, and banks. Everything
along those lines of shutting down, there's talk in France of, you know, in Europe they have pretty lengthy holiday periods and vacation, up to 6 weeks for a lot of people, not everyone, but and they're saying that they want to take off a week of pay of holiday for people and still pay them the same wages and everything, and people are starting to murmur about not liking that idea because, you know, they're still going to give bailouts to the biggest companies and still also reduce people's vacation time.
Yeah, it's not great that it's not filtering down to the workers. That's I can fully understand why people would be upset about that. All other workplaces back in Italy, including factories, are going to be closed for 15 days, as will parks, interestingly. So that's the latest breaking story. Back to chat. Karen says, my grandmother lost 2 siblings in the 1918 flu. I've always worried about a pandemic. That's interesting too, because, I mean, in my childhood, one of my grandfathers went to war, and I've always, I guess, lived in fear of war because of my grandparents' experience. Your grandmother losing 2 siblings in the 1918 flu, I guess that's something that you've grown up with, and it's understandable you'd always be worried about pandemics. Who thought we'd ever see such a thing in our lifetime? I agree with that. I think we've all been watching this unravel with bewildered awe, really.
Can you imagine the Wikipedia page for the 2020 or COVID-19 in 100 years' time when we're all gone.
Yeah, and we don't even really know the magnitude of it, do we? Because,
No.
Australia and the Southern Hemisphere, we're all heading into winter. We're only in autumn at the moment, but we're all heading into winter and flu season. And, I'm wondering if the epicenters in the Northern Hemisphere, it's due to the fact that you're all coming into your winters.
It feels like it doesn't really make a difference now because, California is a pretty hot place compared to Europe. I mean, the winters in California are the summers in France.
Yeah, but there's definitely flu seasons worldwide during winter, like in addition to this thing. I think people are more likely to get flus and colds and stuff with the shifts in seasons and especially in winter. And I think they're also saying there's going to be another round of, this sort of virus after the one we're currently watching. That little highlighted comment about Trump, I did see an article about Trump and I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know if it's still up or not. Let me have a look.
What was it about?
I can't recall because we were, I was scrolling through them when we were chatting before we went live, but it was just something really dumb that he said.
That's like daily though.
I know, and like my host sister in Kansas City saying the worst thing about it is everyone has to tune in to see what he's saying. Trump wishes that China had told the US about coronavirus sooner. I wish they could have told us earlier about what was going on inside. And we didn't know about it until it started coming out publicly. But the thing is, in the past, he's actually praised China for how they handled it. But I don't think they knew any more than anybody else. I don't think that, and that's not the article. I'm sure there was something else he said. I was like, oh, here we go. He's praising America's one big, beautiful family. He praised America's one big, beautiful family. Well, I don't think the kids in Florida think about themselves as being part of one big family. Well, it's something else. I was sure of it. I was just like.
But that would be, I don't know, because China had that whole thing, remember, where they locked the doctor up for spreading bad news and falsehoods.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean.
It definitely happened, but that wasn't the story, and it's no longer on the list of the latest stories. I'll try and find it. But it was something similar to the comment that's highlighted at the moment. It was kind of along those lines.
Yeah, not yet. We're getting there. We were waiting for you.
I have put a video up yesterday thanking Kenny Rogers for all of the orgasms he's given her in her life.
Really?
Yes. Yep. I'm sorry that you lost your orgasm making, dude. I hope you've got one in reserve, a plan B, Ivy. Okay, so let's go to our topic, shall we?
I just want to respond to Karen in chat about California's varied climate. At the moment I said it, I thought to myself that I should have specified Southern California. You're right.
Okay, so here's the sex talk, everybody. Now, I wanted to play a bit of bow, chicka, bow, bow music, but Freddie was like, can you not?
Nope. I don't want to. Let's just jump right into it. Time for sexy talk.
You can have music in the background that is an audio library provided by YouTube, and it's free music to use, and you don't get strikes or infringements or anything for using it. But it can sometimes add to the conversation, if you know what I'm saying. So everyone just needs to do a bit of bow, chicka, bow, bow in the background. So the big question is, Freddie, can we still have sex during this coronavirus pandemic? And the reality is, whether you're already in a committed relationship or whether you're thinking of hooking up with someone. Oh, my camera's not on.
No. Did you see the flash of the image before you turned it on?
No.
Yeah, it was like in those movies where they splice in a porn slide, and then you're like, did I see that? We saw what you were doing. Okay, go ahead.
Slide with me just right. So The harsh reality, I'm going to answer the question straight away. Can we still have sex during the coronavirus pandemic? Hate to break it to you, but the bad news is no. No, 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 no.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. This is applying to people without coronavirus as well?
Yes, yes. So if you've already been put in if you're already self-isolating and you haven't been out and about, you haven't been exposed to anyone, fuck your brains out. Or if you're quarantined and you've waited for more than 14 days and you and your partner are not showing any symptoms, you could still have coronavirus, but maybe it's okay. But generally speaking, the way we should all be thinking is about social distancing. So I've been invited to a barbecue at some friends' houses this afternoon, and part of me is like, I don't know where any of those people have been, who they've been in contact with. Do I really want to go to this barbecue? But they sent a text message saying they've actually put green, like fluorescent green gaffer tape along their outdoor area and divided it up into appropriate sized squares. And basically when we arrive, we're just to go to our designated square. And when the food is ready, we're going to be called out one by one to go up to the barbecue and make our food and then go back to our square. And they're putting a chair in every square, which is interesting. But the thing is, we should all now start to think about social distancing. So if you're you're at home and you've got a partner who, for example, is a doctor, then technically when they come home, they should be quarantined off in a sterilised room that gets cleaned every day by the person who's still at home and then cleaned again after they go back to work. But they should not be sleeping in the same bed or getting it on. The only way to have safe sex, according to the doctor that I listened to being interviewed last night, is if your partner has a 1.5 meter long penis, go for it. She was being a bit tongue-in-cheek, of course, but they don't know if coronavirus is sexually transmissible or not. But the reality is kissing, they do know that kissing is a problem. And that's why a lot of people, especially in China when the outbreak occurred, they were all carrying it and they're all kissing each other and hugging each other, and that's essentially how it can spread. So whether or not it's sexually transmissible is kind of irrelevant because we really should all be practicing social distancing. I'm just going to go and
go to chat, please.
I am.
Hello, Karen. Emily.
Bread, bananas. Well, we are talking about bananas and penises and so on. Emily, great comment and welcome. I did see you popping before. Yes, funny enough, the doctor said that people, we shouldn't even be kissing friends and family, so just bear that in mind too. But these are the tips that came from Dr. Mansberg. One of them is learn to masturbate.
This name, Dr. Mansberg.
Yep, Dr. Mansberg. Learn to masturbate. And on that topic, Freddie, we're coming up with things for people to do while they're isolated at home, and we've talked about colouring in books. So I thought I'd start a little piece of art last night inspired by Dr. Mansberg and people learning to masturbate. We should all become really good wankers. Do you like it?
Oh my God. I love this chat. It's making me really laugh.
No, we should have. This is why we needed to start with this, not the UK doctor scenario. But
I think it was good to start off with that and then now have a laugh because
I agree. Yeah, I agree. We start with the bad news and we end up with some fun, which is lovely. So yeah, wanking was suggested. Karen, I've been married for a gazillion years, doesn't really apply to me. I don't think I want to go to a party. That's a strange party, Tori. I know it is strange, and I kind of feel like I want to go just to see what it's like. But by the same token, I know that there are people at the barbecue this afternoon that have all been working. Tassie's now got 16 cases. We spiked with 5 more overnight. But again, they've all been people coming back to the state with it, or people travelling to the state with it. So we just had 5 people arrive yesterday off one of the cruise ships, and they all tested positive. So they've been tucked into quarantine. I'm not sure if I'm going to go or not. I think my friend will understand if I say I'd prefer not to. I've got two girlfriends wanting to come to my house for a sleepover, and they're both working and live in the city, and they've got kids at school, and I don't actually want them to come down. And I said to them, like I've got a respiratory illness, and my house is clean and sterile, and I'd rather we just all hooked up live, like did what you and I are doing right now, Freddie, and catch up that way.
Wait. You want people webcamming?
Yeah, not having sex.
No, I'm thinking about like sexy time webcamming.
Well, that was another suggestion. Well, that actually wasn't, but yeah, people can start having more virtual shagging.
You're gonna go back to cyber sex days.
Yeah, back to cyber sex. They're saying that if anyone wants to make some money right now, create a virtual dating app where you can have little private rooms to go into and get it on.
We already have that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I still think there's an opportunity for someone, if they can create apps, to create another one. Definitely people go to apps like Tinder for hookups. Don't do it. Don't do it. Another option is to just watch shitloads of porn. Why not read a sexy book or write a sexy book?
Oh, that erotica fiction.
And that's why I wanted the music, you see, because I was meaning like read a sexy book, write a sexy book. They can't stop. They can't make Ivor stop masturbating to Kenny.
Hello, Freddie. Hello, Ivor. Oh, hold on. Hello, Ivor. What are you typing?
I just want to do something for...
Oh, but I was going to say is the only problem with you going to that party would make you like the Bondi Beach people, because you'd be mixing...
That's what I think, for sure.
Yeah.
This is for Ivor.
You're going to get us a strike. All right.
Karaoke version. Take it away, Ivor. I don't know if you'd masturbate to lady. It's a bit mellow, isn't it?
Is that something you guys do? You guys put music on?
To masturbate to? Hell yeah.
Really?
This is for you, Ivor. Hopefully that's enough. Hopefully she's a quick one. Tinder will go broke. Yep, they probably will. They might have to put a little virtual shagging room on their app to assist their patrons. Full body condoms for everyone. Including face though.
Well, I was going to say, it depends on where you are, because this is what I keep thinking to myself, having been in quarantine now for a full week. Are people, well, I don't live in the city, so I wonder if people in the city are able to still, have their rendezvous that the French are so famous for, or are they not? Because you're not supposed to leave your, most of the cities here are broken down, the big cities are broken down into districts. So you're literally not allowed to leave your district. And if you're caught leaving your district, you're fined 135 euros. And I watched the video.
Penalty, I think, don't you?
Say it again?
That still seems like a very low penalty, because when you were saying the other fine, the 83 euros, and worked out
38.
The 38, sorry, I'm dyslexic. But you said it's like 42 US bucks, or for us it was about 80 bucks. I don't think that 100 and whatever it was euros is great. I mean, we've got penalties here for people breaching their quarantine that are like 60 grand and up to 6 months jail.
Well, I think for French people, that is actually a significant amount. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but on average, most people actually do not make more than 2,000 euros a month here in a variety of jobs.
Yeah, but imagine if the fine was €1,000 when you're earning €2,000 a month, you'd think twice about going out, wouldn't you? Whereas if you think in
Yeah.
38, you might be like, look, it's a chunk of my salary,
Yeah.
but not a huge chunk.
Well, I think the problem is if they did make it €1,000 and say you did stray into it, because the I was watching the news, and this wasn't people who were doing things wrong. They were literally exercising in the park, and the police were all in a line. And as people approached, they said, "Show us your papers." If you didn't have your paper because you thought you'd get on your phone, that was a ticket. And then they were giving people tickets who even had their papers for being in the wrong district, because they said you're not allowed to come. I mean, and it's not that far. I mean, it literally might be like 500 meters outside of your zone. And they're saying, no, you don't have a right to be here anymore.
But this is the new world order. Let's go back to sexy time. But on what you were saying, a friend of mine yesterday wanted to know why bars and cafes are still open in Hobart. And I don't think we're quite at that point yet where it's spiking quickly enough or whatever, but this is exactly what happened to Italy, right? They were all going off to dinner and out to cafes when the figures were very low. And I agree with Nick. I think it's sort of, I'd prefer the state to say, look, we had five more people. I mean, the 5 people that tested positive yesterday are already quarantined. But it might be a case of we haven't had any person-to-person coronavirus cases yet. But you kind of think maybe it's worth maybe it's not. Maybe it's because there isn't any person-to-person and all the people that have it have been taken to hospital and have either recovered or are still being treated.
Wait, where's this?
This is where I am.
Hobart? Oh, yeah. But I'm still thinking about people hooking up. I mean, people are still...
Well, that's why
still doing that.
People meet at bars, right, and hook up. But yeah.
Oh no, people use apps now. People don't go to bars anymore for that.
They go on the app. They go on the app and then they arrange to meet at a bar and then they hook up. There's very few people that go on Tinder and say, "Hey, come to my house."
All my friends in LA are male and female. That's what they literally do. I mean, when they want it, they want it. A lot of them have a regular that they. Are you free? Well,
that's different, a regular. But if I was meeting someone on a first date, I'd meet them at a bar or a cafe or somewhere to see if I even liked them. I wouldn't just say, come to my house, and then they rock up, I've got this dickhead stuck in my house with me and I can't get rid of him, and then he knows where I live.
Well, the younger generations, they go balls out. They just go ahead and do it. And, I've heard many stories from friends who are telling me, someone showed up who didn't look like their photo, so they just asked them to leave. I'm like, I'm surprised. I would feel so awkward telling someone, you don't look like your 10-year-old photo. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You're a few more pounds. Well, I mean, historically for me, I've had sympathy sex with people that, I've had I've only had one night stand, but I've ended up having
wait. What is sympathy sex? Is that when he was too overweight for you, or he just wasn't your type, or what is that? I said, what is sympathies?
Oh, just like I started dating a guy and I wasn't 100% sure, and then we had sexy time and I still wasn't 100% sure. And
oh, okay, that's different though.
Yeah, I don't think we've got a relationship potential, but we'd already shagged by that point. That's what I meant.
Yeah, no, I was thinking you really like he came to your house and you're kind of like, oh, I don't really want to, but I will because I don't want to make it awkward.
No, but I do feel that I've at the start of a relationship where I've kind of felt like it's not going to go anywhere, I've still gone ahead and had sex, and then afterwards I'm sort of like, nah. But yeah, more sympathy because I wasn't feeling pressured to have it. I just felt that it was a natural evolution of getting to know each other. But by the time I realized it was going to happen, we'd already slept together.
I have a lot of female friends who do that. Like they're curious to see if it'll be good and they're hoping it'll be good. But like 9 times out of 10, they'll tell me like 5 minutes in, they're just ready to just say, oh, I don't feel so well. I want to stop.
Like when you're having sex, like that.
Yeah, a lot of women I know in LA are like that. They're just like, I was hoping it was going to be good. Like they said, like you, they were on the fence. Like it could, like maybe if it was good, then they would feel better about the guy. But then they said that they started and then they were
mid-shag.
Yeah, I have one. Yeah. Like I have one friend, and she will remain nameless, but she is someone who often will. She knows a lot of people who are known in the world, and some things like that happen to her sometimes. And I'm like, did you do it just so you could check off the name on your list? Like, I was with this person. It's something to brag about. And she's like, yeah, but then she was telling me a story about once. She's gonna kill me. I told her the story.
Well, I want to get back to chat. So quick, dude. Tell it.
Okay, no, go ahead. Get back to chat. I don't want to spill her business, but it was a really good story because it was someone who was really famous, and so she ended up starting, and then she just faked like she had to go and pick up a friend whose car broke down.
You have to tell us now who this famous person was. You can't do that to us.
No. Because she didn't tell me I could even tell this story. So if I tell who it is, then no.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at chat. Your smile makes Karen laugh. That's gorgeous.
Thank
Emily
you.
still thinks there's going to be a surge of those quarantines we were talking about the other day. Karen wants to know why a doctor has to tell us that. I'm assuming she's talking about we all need to learn to masturbate if we don't know already. Watch some porn, just get over it, basically. Great coloring.
But in my mind, I didn't think that it was a transmittable disease like that. But I mean, obviously, if you're exchanging spit, I just assumed you just wouldn't kiss.
The thing is, what the doctor was saying is they don't know if it's sexually transmissible, but that's irrelevant because we should all be social distancing, and they do know that it's transmissible through hugging and snogging. So, you know what I mean? Let me think. I'm just going to... Freddie is a character. You got that right. He sure is.
Wait, no, hold on. You skipped Emily's great comment, camel in.
Oh, hang on. I scrolled up. It's
just 3 comments up.
Look, I want to see her first one. So she says, I'm so glad I came in. Then she says, okay, not camels in, but join chat. Not came in, but... Well, we could all watch videos of that woman doing exercise and check out her camel toe. Freddie's character, you are right, he is. Karen just wants to go shopping. Shop online, Grover. Oh, I have a problem, doesn't have a problem anymore. Now that Kenny's gone, she's just going to watch Freddie for her inspiration.
Should I get a white wig?
No, I think she'll take you just the way you are. Karen says, don't go to the party, Tori, not worth it. Yeah, it's interesting, Freddie, before when you were saying me going to a barbecue is like the people going to Bondi Beach, yes, on Friday. I feel the same way. I feel that it's kind of, this is where we need to shift our thinking. And I know that my friends who are having this barbecue, I'm really sorry, but I really need to look after my own health. They would be okay with it, but I'm also surprised they've even organised it. You know what I mean? And I don't know who's going to it. I'd hate to rock up and there'd be like 30 people there. I know that
I would say, or even worse, is you get there and just someone has a slight cough.
Exactly. We're all judging. I mean, I was judging that woman at Mona a few weeks ago for blowing her nose and standing right next to me while she did it. I mean, one of our girlfriends in our group has got cancer at the moment, and I hope she's not going. But yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say to my mates, look, I'm under control and I feel safe, and I'm happy to do deliveries to people in the neighbourhood and stuff like that who need supplies and leave it at their doorstep. That's not bothering me, that kind of stuff. But I just don't think it's intelligent for anyone to put themselves in a group of people that you don't know who they're in contact with. Just because there's no evidence yet that anyone's got person-to-person coronavirus in this state doesn't mean it hasn't already happened.
If you had already had it, let's say you did have it and you were healed from it, would you go then?
No, because they've definitely had cases of people getting it a second time. It does incubate. So no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I was just saying because you might have felt like, okay, well, I didn't die the first time, so maybe I can go.
No, I think no, I wouldn't. Sing for Ivor. She's nearly there, Freddie. Sing her. She might be there now. We've got to scroll down.
Yeah, I don't know any songs.
Yes, you do. Sing your Kitty P Carmen song.
Oh, I always go kitty 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 p kitty 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 p.
There's another Kitty P Carmen song. I can't remember it.
Well, pretty much every song that I can sing in the chorus and say Kitty P, that's what I always sing to Kitty P. There was an ABBA one that I used to sing to you about Kitty P, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was Kitty P, Kitty Kitty P, Kitty Kitty P P P, Kitty P.
Okay, well, according to Ivor, it was actually Kenny Rogers that rang her bell. I think she might have had her first orgasm listening to Kenny. So you've got big shoes to fill, Freddie. You need to write a little song.
Yeah, I need to write.
A bit. Ivor hasn't had sex in 2 years. She'll take whatever she can get. Get a friggin' vibrator. That's the advice from Dr. Mansberg.
These comments are really hilarious.
In there. Is it in yet? I've had one of those ones too. And I
You
felt
had that happen?
my first year at uni, I was with this guy and we'd been dating and we'd been putting off having sex for such a long time that I was climbing the walls. We finally got together and I said that to him and it's haunted me my whole life. But I honestly didn't feel a thing. And afterwards, I apologized to the guy profusely, but yeah, I felt like that's probably the bitchiest thing I've ever done in my life was say, "Is it in yet?" to a guy.
But you didn't do it on purpose.
No, but he was like, judging from his facial expressions and his grunting and all the sounds that he was making, he was having the time of his life. And I was like, is this guy just getting off on dry humping me? And then I asked him if it was in yet, and he was like, yeah, baby. And luckily he wasn't horrified, but I was. And it turns out that he had a tiny little penis.
Shocked.
I felt like if I look back on my lifetime and think what's the nastiest thing you've ever said to anyone in your life, that's it. I felt horrible, but he carried on like we were having, the most incredible sex ever. It was a really weird experience.
But that's good at least.
Huh?
I said that's good for him at least. I mean, he didn't know that you were just like.
I know, but I guess if you have a tiny penis, you probably at some point get used to women inquiring if it's in or I don't know. He wasn't horrified or upset at all, but I was mortified. I used to see him on the campus and I'd go and hide so that I didn't have to speak to him. And
wait, but didn't you see it beforehand to know that it was so tiny?
Yeah, I did, but
well, then it can't be that tiny.
I'd never been with anyone with one that small, so I had no idea that when it was incredible, I wasn't going to feel it. Like I didn't know. I still think don't feel bad for him. He had on his pinboard after we'd had sexy time. He had like a pinboard in his room with drawing pins. Punched it and in the letter Z. And I said to him, what's that for? And he said, Zorro. And then he said, I'll show you something. And he pulled out a drawing pin and there was a tiny little piece of paper inside it. And he pulled it off the pin and opened it up. And under every pin was the name of a girl that he'd slept with. And that Z was huge. So he'd had sex with a lot of girls. But probably not more than once.
Well, that's probably why it was such a long list.
Exactly.
Oh,
but
wow.
I remember saying to him, don't you dare put my name under a drawing pin. And he's like, Zorro does whatever Zorro wants. And I was like, okay.
What? He calls himself Zorro?
Yeah. Yeah, most men, in my experience, with not that I've been with, but you know that comment, that the saying, small dick syndrome. Most men with small penises are quite nasty pieces of work because they've got an attitude problem because they've got tiny willies. But he didn't seem to give a flying flip. All right, back to the girls and guys of chat. Gojo, you did. Hi, Gojo, welcome. You didn't expect it. First of all, I think we've covered the tiny penis. I saw it. I just had no idea. I know I was young, so it's not like I'd had 27 babies and a gaping frenula or anything. I was young, but I had no experience with a little willy, so I didn't realize that it's possible to have one inside you and not realize it. Look at Emily. There's the guy who gave me a tonsillectomy, too much of a good thing. Hey, on that note, anyone with a small penis, if your penis is like this, when it comes to giving head, that's a great size. There's no gagging, there's no reflux, there's no lockjaw. Every cloud has a silver lining, Freddie.
Wait, so now you're saying you want the small penis?
I think when it comes to giving blowjobs, sometimes size does matter, and in that instance, probably the smaller the better, because like Emily's saying, you know, she was almost given a tonsillectomy.
Too much of a good thing, she says. But I love it. It was the 70s. I'm sure she has some good stories then. Those Studio 54 days.
He just needed to find the right woman. Well, I hope that he has. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing so hard at. Now, can you imagine if this poor guy is one day like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to Tori. Let me go to the Google. He's going to be watching this like, oh, I have such fond memories of Tori looking at his cork board with the big Z over the years and find your number and throw it in the trash. Like,
well, I'll take it. That's my karma. Ivor's comment is my karma for being a horrible person. But by the way, my vanilla is lovely and perky. How dare you? Yeah, I haven't mentioned any names. I mean, his name is on the tip of my tongue, but I haven't said a word.
No, don't say the name. Let those people live and not let these girls live vicariously and be able to not name a name to, you know, to cause any problems for them.
I'm tempted to see if I can find him now to find out what happened to him. I hope he's having a wonderful life with a gorgeous woman or man, and you know he's happy. He wasn't a very nice guy. I mean, there's the Zorro Z thing with all the drawing pins. I mean, that was a bit sort of wrong to show me that after the event, and I was horrified. I didn't want to be on the Z. So he wasn't very
weird though. Like, why would you? But I guess that's like, you know, people used to have a black book and things like that. I mean, now most people just have a name in their phone with maybe a city next to it.
I'm going to take Ivor's comment off the screen because I'm going to wet my pants. Emily, you are too funny. She sure is, and so is Ivor.
Yeah, she is.
And Emily,
very funny.
I'm sober. Richard arrived. Sorry, I'm late helping some with a homework project.
Oh, you've missed a good one.
Project, Richard. Because we're talking about whether you can have sex during this epidemic, and the advice is no go zone, no deal, unless if you've self-isolated and you're with your partner and there's no symptoms or evidence that either of you have it. I guess that's good to go, but really we should all be thinking social distancing first, even when it comes to intimate relationships. So Dr. Mansberg said everyone, if they can't already, they need to learn how to masturbate. They can watch porn. There's virtual dating apps. You can go off and, hook up on webcams. Why not? read a sexy book. One of her other suggestions was watch a rom-com, and I'm like, is there a bigger turn-off for anyone out there other than me than a rom-com? Rom-coms don't make me feel sexy at all.
Well, I think it depends if you're in a relationship. You might fantasize of being in that. It's like that 50 Shades of Grey that everyone was going to see. Those movies were trash.
I never saw them, and I didn't read the book either. But I know that the book's badly written because there's a former radio announcer in Australia who's basically made a living out of people sending her shit that she reviews, and she got a copy of it, and she said, this is the worst written book ever, and she had like 3 or 4 paragraphs from it, and I read it and just went, Jesus. But I didn't get into the 50 Shades. The worst thing about 50 Shades was, it came out with me. I'd go out to dinner, my middle-aged girlfriends who had finally discovered good sex wouldn't stop talking about it, and I'm like, people have been having great sex for a long time. Like, I'm happy you're finally having great sex, but can you stop talking about it?
But a lot of people don't.
No, but
I know a lot. Think of all those people who waited till marriage and were like, I can't, because, and you know what I mean? And imagine if you had waited till marriage and you had married the guy from the college.
All right.
What would your life be like now? Imagine.
Miserable. I'd be divorced.
At 50, and then you'd be that friend who's just like, oh my God, with that glow. What movie was that? It's a Meg Ryan movie.
I'm just boiling the kettle. I'm sorry if there's some background. Tell me if the background noise is too much, and I'll highlight some comments and you can chat. Is it a bit loud?
Okay, I'll read them.
I'll mute my mic.
That loud.
It's all right.
Yeah. Or do you highlight some comments and I'll read them off?
Yep.
Karen says, understand, Emily, I was single until 1978.
Were you even born in 1978, Freddie?
Nope. But I can imagine from watching TV that, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that because, we always think everything on TV is real and it's not. So I still imagine that it probably was really fun. I mean, that was before all the major diseases came out. So you guys were able to really take advantage of that. I mean, can you imagine those people? Because I always think to myself, you really don't think of people having sex before you were born. You know what I mean? Like, I don't imagine people were hooking up in the 20s and 30s, but I'm sure they were. I'm sure throughout all of history, it's always been the same. It's never changed, but we just aren't thinking that was happening.
We were chatting about grandparents before. One of the things I remember my grandfather saying to me, putting me back in my box at a Christmas lunch, he and grandma said something about sex, and I was like, can you not? And my dad, I mean, it's always worse when it's your parents talking about sex, right? My dad was the same. He's like, oh, Mom, Dad, don't. And my grandfather was like, sex isn't just for you young people. We all like sex. Get over it. And I've never
How old were they?
I would have been about maybe 18, so they would have been in their 70s. But Dad was horrified. It's always worse when it's your parents talking about it. I don't think anyone ever wants to imagine their parents. But yeah, so that taught me a lesson, and I was like, good on you. You're still shagging. That's awesome. And Dad was like, can you stop this?
I want you.
It has to end now.
Speaking along those lines, I'm going to send you a video to play of this boy apparently who walked in on his parents having sexy time, and he told his sister as she was filming it. And this is probably the best reaction video I have ever seen. Say it again.
Are we going to play it, or are you just telling us about it?
No, we can play it. I mean, it's safe for YouTube. It's just funny, his reaction. Oh no, the tweet is gone.
Is it all in Spanish?
No, this is in English.
I was just teasing you. That other one. The tonsillectomy thing for Emily was during sex. Yes, Zorro was a weird guy, Karen. You are right. Hello, Richard. You may want to keep your son out of earshot. Yes. So back to a quick wrap up.
Oh, sorry.
Sexy time is no good during the coronavirus pandemic, even though there's no evidence it's sexually transmitted. we're supposed to do this social distancing, and unless you have a 1.5 meter long penis, forget it. I'm sure there's some couples that it's safe, but like they were saying, if you've got a partner who's going out and about in the community and you're living in a community where there's person-to-person coronavirus exchanging going on in particular, best you don't. All right, let's get this thing happening.
That wasn't the one, but that was another one that was really good. I want to find the one where the boy is practically crying in the car. Oh, here we go.
Which one do you want me to do, Glover? This one or the other one?
Hold on. I want you to play this one, actually. You can play the one I just sent you now after, but this one, it will have us in tears. Play that one.
Okay.
Are you crying? You would be dead.
Wait a second. I've just got to get it back to the start. Oh, he's poor little thing. Right, just let me screen share. Hang on a sec. Chrome tab. Wait a minute.
Full screen.
Oh, I'm full screening. I've worked this thing out, man. How good have I learned stuff? Okay, you ready?
I know. I'm proud of you. Go.
Brace yourselves, people.
Are you crying? You would be dead right now if you heard it. What did you hear? What did you hear? Nothing. What's the problem? Nothing. Oh. There's no problem whatsoever. Are you sure you didn't hear Mom and Dad have sex? Oh, 3 times. 3 times. Oh my God. 3 times.
3 times. Poor little thing. I'm now going to go to this one because this little one looks so cute.
I'm sure this is happening a lot during quarantine.
Scarred for life, these poor little kids. Poor little. Let me get this up full screen. Here we go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
Y'all be having it.
We'll be having it. That might be the movie we be watching sometimes.
Oh yeah. Y'all don't have a TV.
We can watch TV on my computer though.
No.
So, when you saw them having or heard them, I didn't see what there's a caption for that one.
They heard them.
Oh, little kid. Poor little guy.
Well, at least his reaction was better than the other one. The other one was in tears.
Well, it can be a traumatic thing, that's for sure.
Is something on fire?
Huh?
What's that smoke?
It's incense.
Ah.
Yeah, I lit it, but I'll put it there and hopefully it won't go over. Is it going in front of the camera?
Yeah.
I was trying to get, in the mood.
Oh, because you're listening to Kenny Rogers music.
Oh, hang on. I'm just going to move this incense because it's getting more active.
Yeah. Move that sage branch away. Iva says, yes, Emily, I knew that. Tickle your tonsils from the bottom.
Welcome to anyone joining us. We are asking the important question, is the time okay right now? And no, we should be social distancing unless you've got a huge penis and you can shag your wife or partner from 1.5 meters away. They're saying no. And they're suggesting that we all learn to masturbate if we don't know how to already. And Iva Problem is going to do a...
Hold on. So are you just saying you're basically only wanting people to have sex if there's a huge penis involved?
Well, it was just the joke the doctor made. Is like, unless if we're social distancing and the distance is 1.5 meters, unless your penis is 1.5 meters long, forget it.
I'm referring to your story earlier about Mr. Micro, and now here you are talking about, if you have a huge penis, then yes, by all means, you can have sex.
Yeah, but no, man, I've never seen a man in my life that's got 1.5 meters long schlong, right?
I'm sure he's out there waiting for you, Tori.
It's the new sexual position, the 2 foot away position. Well, it could well be. You could well be.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone joining us. It's good to have you here. I've got to scroll back up. God, the chatters are chatting, man. Fuck. I'll be jumping through. Don't feel bad if I'm missing things that aren't actually.
We're way up.
Yeah. So Freddie could read porn. That would work. Well, there you go, Freddie. There's a job for you. It wasn't before HIV. I thought about that earlier. Yeah, it was really HIV in the 80s that changed all of that, free love of the 60s and 70s. Emily says she's 65 and ready for Freddie. And Karen's 65 too this year. Well, happy birthday to both.
Congratulations.
Oh, Emily, you sexy senior, you. Yeah, I agree. Light feather. Welcome. Sexy and was like, okay, let's talk about it. Yes, we are. And
thank you for coming.
Yeah, welcome to our channel. Hello to you too.
Yes, hello.
Richard, thanks, Emily. I don't protect my children from anything. They censor themselves. They'll leave in embarrassment.
Yeah, that's me as a kid.
I mean, I didn't have kids, but isn't that a parent's role? Is basically they exist to embarrass their children? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You are right. Yeah, now listen to this. Light Feather's husband's out and about, so he's been made to sleep in the guest room, and that's what they're saying is if you're both at home and you're self-quarantined and it's more than 14 days and it's not likely you were exposed and you've just self-isolated, whatever, then you should be fine. But if someone in your family is coming and going, or both of you are, you should really be sleeping in separate rooms and disinfecting your rooms every night and, practicing your not practicing, but doing your proper, all that kind of stuff. So they're really saying, because kissing is a big issue and hugging.
Unless you have a huge penis, then by all means, Tori is ready and welcome. Look at you. You're just shaking your head. Yes, huge penis. Yes, thank you.
But you know what? Every time we mention this 1.5 meter long penis, I keep thinking of someone holding a 1.5 meter long broomstick with a dildo on the end of it to the other person. That's where my brain is going with this conversation. Putting a dildo on the end of a broomstick.
Just open your Google and we'll see what you're really thinking.
Is that a euphemism? Open your Google.
Can you imagine the welcome to Google screen if they could do that one?
Open your Google. Wow. Moving on. Okay, well, I'm going to pass. Yes, we agree. All those poor little kids were traumatized. There's no doubt about that. Ivor says humans are disgusting. Well, you open your Google. Hey, Morgan. Welcome.
Hi, Morgan.
I have no idea what you've just walked into, but oh my God, Richard, is it okay?
It's all Tori's sexy time talk.
Before we went live, I said to Freddie, the doctor has given some tips, things like learn to masturbate. And Freddie was like, surely you're not going to say the word masturbate.
I know I was.
Hell yeah. And, if you're at home and you want to do colouring in's an option, I started this last night. I could have chosen something way filthier than that, I might add. Wank stain. Another option. It's okay you're getting a semi. It's all sharing and caring in our chat. We love it. Tori's Yeah, my vag is on fire. Sing along, everybody.
Fire.
That Kings of
I don't
Leon.
know who's thinking this one.
My veg is, hey?
I said, I don't know which artist is singing this one.
My veg is on fire. I was doing Kings of Leon. This sex is on fire.
Oh, I thought you were singing Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire.
No, that's this veg is on fire.
Fire, fire.
Veg is on fire.
Fire, fire. The karaoke version.
My veg is on fire. And they went down, down, down in a burning veg of fire. Flames, flames, flames.
You know, there's a lot of people in quarantine who may not be having access because everyone is home to what they want to really watch. And now you're just making all these people crazy.
If anyone gets off on me singing burning fire like Eartha Kitt, there's something wrong with them.
You would be surprised. You know, when I first
Come
when I
on,
started in
fire. All right, moving on. God,
look at Morgan.
Oh, I can't catch up. Hang on, here we go. Right, so I don't know who Ivan is, but I'm glad he's hilarious. Morgan, interesting time to come in. We'll just settle in, crank up your dildo, and enjoy the ride.
I think we need a soundboard with a buzzing noise.
A few years ago, my brother and I were in a comedy debate together, but we were on opposing sides, and the topic was sex is better if you're single. And they had two teams, and the team I was on were all single people, and we had to argue that it was better if you were married. And the other side, they were all married, they had to say it was better than you're single. But anyway, I used a vibrator as a prop, and I actually put it on the table and turned it on, and it was like buzzing and spinning. And my brother said, "Far out, that's that noise." He said, "All the time when we were kids and I heard that noise, I thought you were vacuuming."
Was that a joke?
Yes.
Oh. Well, but the real question is, why are you at a debate with a vibrator in your bag?
Yeah, because the topic was sex is better if you're single.
So you wanted props?
It was a prop. I didn't.
Did you see me?
Well, I was joking. I don't know why you're missing the point. It wasn't like I said.
No, but who has a dildo or a vibrator in their bag at a debate?
I took it to the debate to use it as a prop. I don't walk around with a dildo in my bag usually.
Well, even then, can you? I just imagine an American audience when you put that thing on the podium.
My dad was in the audience. He was horrified. And afterwards he said to me, I hope that Mr. Buzzy is never seen or talked about ever again.
Can you imagine? Your dad was like that little boy 3 times.
But I still have my brother saying, when we were kids, I thought you're in your room vacuuming. Okay, let's get back into chat, shall we? Subject change now.
Hold on, I like Emily. I'm going to ruin my dear, sweet, kind old lady reputation.
Ruin it. We've got nothing to lose. Let's all just put it out there. Like, open your Google and put it out there for everyone.
Love in the time of Corona. We just have to put it out there.
Exactly. Karen says you don't feel old in your 60s. And I remember a lady at the supermarket years ago, an elderly woman who couldn't open her purse, and she looked at me and she said, "Do you know what's horrible about getting old?" She said, "I can't do anything anymore, but I still feel like I'm only 30. And I've never forgotten that comment.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you take care of yourself, because when you look at someone like a Jane Fonda, you know, who talks about sex at her age right now, and she's in her 80s.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. I watched a movie on Netflix with her and Robert Redford last week. I love Jane Fonda. Gojo, can't believe it's 2020 and we've been told how to use a tissue and not have sex. I know, right? Isn't it crazy?
Wait, what are they saying about tissues? I missed that.
use a tissue, or like for hand washing and being healthy and, putting a tissue in the bin after you've used it, or sneezing into all that sort of stuff that we're learning. Or if you don't already know how to wash your hands, I think it's sad. But if, like I said to a friend the other day, if that's one of the good things that comes out of it is people are less grotty, bring it on. But she's just saying 2020 is weird. Like we're watching this world unravel, and this is where we all have to adjust our way of thinking and open up our Google.
Can you imagine our show back during the Renaissance era, like the plague, and we're saying, well, you people cannot have sex during the plague.
But it would have been, what did you want? You wanted me to change the title of the show to Can We Be Intimate? And I was like, yeah, fuck, sexy time. But
I'm sorry, I was raised differently. I'm that little boy who's crying right now. Who's like, I can't talk about things like this.
Well, talk about dildo on a broomstick then. What are those machines? There's machines that have dildos on the end of them that girls get on when, like, at orgies and stuff. There's an actual machine that spins around and has a vibrator on it, and the girls.
Can I tell you, because, I do live in France, and the swingers club are actually a very big thing. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if people are raring to go back to those clubs once this is all over.
Yuck, nah. I'm surprised.
No, but think about this. We could be quarantined for up to 1 month. So a lot of people are like you, on fire. You know what I mean? They've been quarantined for a month, and if you can't go out of it.
I'm not even quarantined. I can booty call. Well, actually, I won't. I wouldn't booty call my little lover now. No way.
Yeah, after a month, you would probably, if these clubs existed where you were, but they're very big in France, and they're quite expensive, actually. It's like
this is how you get through 4 weeks quarantine without getting on fire. Dildo on a broomstick. Now, like Life Feather says, just masturbate, but wash your hands before and after. Great advice for everyone. Great advice for everyone. Don't forget to hit the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Just wash your hands. Just wash your hands before and after.
We're going to get that 18-year-old age consent advisory thing where people have to sign in before they can watch this video.
Oh, it's already said is not appropriate for children. Now, here's a great tip from Gojo, but I don't know if you know what she's talking about, Freddie.
When do.
She can learn ping pong, what does that mean?
Well, there's these interesting shows in Thailand where you can often see things like this done. Well, not only in Thailand, I believe you can see it done in Mexico as well.
It's in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert too, but I've always wondered about someone trying to learn to do that at home and using their partner as target practice, and just bending over and firing ping pong balls at their partners. Do you reckon that's how it works?
I don't know. I was like, I would imagine. Well, I guess, yeah, because they can aim.
I'm losing it.
You're right.
Oh, my glasses are so wet. They're covered in tears. I can't stop laughing.
Listen to this euphemisms coming from you. Steamed up and wet.
Just don't say moist punches.
I almost did. I really almost did, but I know you hate that word.
Oh, my God. I've got a chat. Emily can't take it. Or she can take it. Open your Google, Emily. Open your Google. If anyone had told me to have this conversation today.
Well, let me tell you, I can guarantee you that everyone who is listening right now has not thought about Corona.
I'm so disappointed there's only 13 people enjoying this right now.
There'll be more in the replay.
I think we're going to have to do round 2 of this topic. Okay, Richard's oversharing. Swallow your drink first, Freddie, before I read it out. After sex with my wife one time, she said, "How was that for you?" I borrowed a line from a comedian. It was like throwing a sausage.
Wow. I think you guys went to the same school of comedy.
No, Richard, I'm glad you're still in trouble, you horrible man. You shouldn't say that to your beautiful wife who bore you 4 babies. All right, we're moving on. That's disgraceful. But at least you're out and proud, I guess. Emily, like sex, the first time I had sex sober, it was scary. Yeah. Swore I'd never do it alone again. Back dump. What the? Can you Freddie, translate? I don't know what that means.
Well, she's saying that she had sex sober, which was boring. She said she'd never do it again, and then she tried anal.
She really truly opened up both of her Googles.
Well, there's 2 O's in Google. You're starting to snort.
Right.
Can you imagine? This is how our conversations used to be when it was just us 2.
Now we're letting people watch it.
I know, because I
Google and it's Google. Oh my God. So single. Yes,
I
it
always
is.
want to bring up one of your one of the nicknames we had for one of your friends before.
No, I know exactly what you're going to say. No. No, he's still a beautiful friend of mine. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do that. No, this isn't about outing beautiful people in our lives.
Well, you wanted me to out 2 people.
No, well, yeah, no. Well, you started to that was different. You told a story, and then you're like, "Oh, but I can't tell you the story." That's like people go through another secret, yeah, and then they go, "I can't tell you." It's like, well, John, why did you tell me you knew a secret?
Because I probably should have told you off air.
First time I had sex sober was this is Emily's rewritten her comment. First time sober was so scary. I swore I'd never do it alone again. Cue drum badump. So you took her straight to anal sex and opening her Google hole. She was doing the little badumcha that you do at the end of a joke.
Oh. Well, she was in the 70s. I figured that's what she was doing. She said she would never do it sober. I mean, I imagine that's when everything was flowing freely and cheap. She was just indulging.
Masturbate on the show, and you've totally taken one of our subs straight to Browntown and told everyone she opened her Google and had anal sex.
You asked me to translate. You can't tell me to translate something from the 70s. I wasn't there. I assumed that's when you see the stories, it was everything and anything.
I just love that he translated a typo. That she was actually just doing the little badumcha, insert drum roll at the end, and you took it straight to anal sex. Okay, we're moving on. I'm in pain.
Okay.
I can't see a thing.
Oh.
Like Feather's grandparents had a very healthy sex life. Good on them. Good on them. Isn't that what we all want? I'd love to be shagging my brains out in my 70s.
Can I tell you what's something interesting is I read an article once that was talking about seniors that are using applications for sex. And there are people that go well into their 80s that are still using these applications to meet people for sex.
Bless. Good on them.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, that's what essentially that Jane Fonda and Robert Redford movie was about. They were both widowed and, had been on their own for a long time. And she just rocked up to his house and said, I've got a proposition for you. Do you want to sleep with me? And she said, but it's not sex. I just think it'd be nice. She said, we're both on our own. It's lonely being at home, but it'd be nice to fall asleep and wake up with someone. So they started doing that, and then it eventually evolved into a relationship. But I thought that was
companionship.
Thought that was really cute. Right, where are we? Okay, I'm scrolling down a bit. I have a problem. She does have a problem. She tried ping pong. She still can't find the bat. Check your Google.
Check your Google.
I've got to get some things I've got to get some tissues and something to clean my glasses with.
Your glasses are all fogged up. This has been the most lively conversation we've had in a while.
I know, it's unfortunate. Like I said, we should have 140 people watching this. Really? Like,
Oh.
okay. Back. Well, I can hardly say. I've got to clear these. Hang on. I'll highlight another one. It's sad. See, Emily agrees. The world is missing out. The world is missing out on Freddie saying you had anal sex.
No, I didn't know. You can't pin that on me.
My
She wrote the
favourite-
word dump, so I figured that's what she was.
I totally went there too. That's why I asked you to interpret it, because my brain went straight to Browntown as well.
You set me up.
It was a setup for sure. For sure. All right, where are we? Akin to is it in yet? Okay. So you look at Emily, should be drum roll.
Yeah, baboon.
Poor Emily, I'm here for you. This is so
look at the next comment.
I can't even.
Look what I said. I think it was just you and me who went there, and everyone else was like, look at these vulgar people.
I just love how blunt Ivor is. Emily didn't take it up the ass, guys. Emily's low on depends here too. Good grief. Good grief. Okay. My grandmother always said, appreciate being a woman. Absolutely. Morgan says, all the cool kids are here. I agree.
Yeah.
Emily says we need Mel. She won't be awake for another half an hour at least. Gojo, introduce porn movies 1.5 meters long, so you'll get plenty of viewers.
Apparently, there is coronavirus porn already out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. See,
Someone's forwarded me some already.
do you want me to send you something? Since we're talking sex and things that are inappropriate, I'll send you a meme that a friend sent me last night. I'm just going to screenshot it and crop it. This is so wrong.
Is it safe for viewing?
So tell me about the coronavirus porn while I send this to my oh shoot, how do I get this?
I can't really say much, Tori.
Huh?
I said I can't really say much. I mean, we already know the storyline.
Do we?
Well, yeah, it's pretty much straightforward.
I don't know. I need you to explain.
I can't.
This isn't a setup. I genuinely. So what? Everyone's in full body condoms.
Exactly, hazmat suits and everything.
I don't know how to. Oh, actually, I could just hold it up to the camera. How do I do it without my friend's name there? Hang on. I've saved the attachment. This is on a par with what we were talking about earlier about tonsillectomies and stuff. Okay. I'm trying to
Can you read it to us? We can't see the writing.
Yep, I'll read it to you. I was going to see if it would look better this way around, but it doesn't. So you've got a woman and a man sitting together, and the woman says, "What do you do for a living? What do you do for work?" It's got a typo. I saw toilet paper.
Instead of what would you do for a Klondike bar, now it's what would you do for a roll of loo paper?
Exactly. Lightfeather's going to pee her pants. Well, hopefully there's no shortage of that. Phlegmy sex with coughing. Yeah, I agree. Who wants to shag when they're not well?
No, I don't think no one's sick in the videos.
Oh, okay. So, but I can't imagine it. I'll have to use my brain later.
You can Google it. Open the Google and type in COVID porn.
Open my Google like I'm some wanton slapper. All right, I'm opening my Google. What am I putting in?
COVID porn. But you won't be able to show anything, but maybe you can. Well, I don't know how you would describe it without being graphic.
Porn star says she'll have sex with the scientist who finds a cure for COVID-19. So the porn industry has actually shut down.
Yeah. I saw that already.
But you can guess how coronavirus has affected porn. Oh, there's a graph. I could show this. Hang on. Oh, my God. Check this out. This is quite funny. If anyone ever checked the history of my computer, just from what I do with my podcast, let alone now going live with you. So we like showing graphs here, and I'm going to expand it. This is data from Pornhub, one of the popular online porn. Oh, there's an ad. Piss off. Uh-oh. Don't you hate that, man?
No, we can still see the graph. It's showing it. Oh, the viewing habits.
Yes.
Percentage change in traffic compared to an average day. Oh, wow.
And that's what's it for? I'll just take Emily's comment down so we can actually see the dates.
Okay.
So this is spread across the world. It says, I'll just scroll down a little bit. Some countries are showing even greater increases. Italy, as an example, has been on severe movement restrictions, and its citizens have been searching 30% more than usual. France, oh yeah, and Spain are also up over 30% normal rates. Perhaps even more alarming, however, are some of the changes in what people are searching for. Oh my God, 9 million, more than 9 million searches.
Told you.
Jesus. So what? I'm so curious to know what's actually in these porns.
I think it's so funny that you want to know the plot of the COVID porn.
I do. Listen, like I'm not ordinarily here to kink shame people. If you're into weird shit, providing that weird shit doesn't harm other people and it involves consenting adults, go get up to your weird shit. I honestly don't care. We've all got different turn-ons, but I'm honestly straining to even figure out what coronavirus-related porn content would be. Thank you.
Yeah, but this writer clearly didn't do his homework. He should have already Googled it himself to see what it was about. I mean, why would it be weird? I mean, obviously, porn has fake scenarios.
Let me keep reading because this is hilarious. Who wrote this? Let me see if it's male or female first. Mac Rawdon. Okay, so Mac sounds like a dude's name. Have a listen to this. So this is where it gets funny. Is this like nurse porn where you're looking for someone to care for you? Is it like it's the end of the world, so let's do things we wouldn't normally do type porn? I can't help it. I need to look. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, my God. I don't even know what to say right now. We've got quarantined women exercising at home with less than the full allotment of clothes. We've got people getting after it with masks on, and we've got whatever the hell is going on here.
See, I told you. That's the one I got. That's the picture someone sent me.
Well, that's what I said earlier. Are they in like full body condoms?
Well, yeah, but there was they stripped down just to wearing their mask eventually.
But that doctor who was giving tips for all of us how to get through this this no sex thing, they're all saying porn, watch porn. But I wouldn't be watching coronavirus porn, that's for sure.
Yeah, but they've already said that it's been up 30%, and one of the biggest searches is coronavirus porn. Because I guess that would be the latest before the industry shut down.
Well, everyone's going to start watching 70s porn and, you know, with people with massive porn, like with massive bushes, 70s bushes.
No, we know what you really are going to say. You're going back to the pee-pee size.
No, they'll be watching because everyone will get sick because there won't be any new stuff. So they'll start watching retro porn where people have 70s bushes. But that's quite a spike, right, in less than a month.
Well, the French quarantine was we're on our first week. Italy's on their second week. And a lot of people were self-quarantined before that. But it seems about right. as the numbers climbed up, people didn't want to go out and mix with other people and possibly get the virus.
Morgan makes a great comment because pawns are usually not.
Yeah. This is Tori here asking about what is the plot? What is the plot? Here, let me write one for you.
I just don't think it's sexy watching people in full-on hazmat suits getting it on. I bet the graphic scenario. Well, it's certainly an erection.
Here, I'm going to give you the scenario.
Look.
After leaving Bondi Beach, Tori decides to return home. Worried about her coronavirus possible exposure, she contacts an in-home doctor. Boom, there's your scene.
Right. Well,
I'm just going to take your temperature.
I wouldn't have been anywhere near. I've just found a heap of sound effects I didn't realise were in there. I want you to do your the storyline again, if you could, Freddie.
What storyline? Oh, of a coronavirus porn for you?
Yep.
After returning from Bondi Beach, Tori is worried about her exposure to coronavirus. Are you smoking a joint worried about coronavirus? I'm just going to call this doctor in to see if I've got it. What are you on hold?
Have I got it?
I think you're going to get us another takedown.
This is an audio library on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. What are you talking about? This is what YouTube gives us to play.
That sounded like a song I know.
They all sound a little bit like songs that you know.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why they provide it. That graph is looking. Look at these comments about the graph. I thought a graph could be so graphic.
It's so weird because Richard made that comment about the penis, and I said, well, it certainly was an erection. Iva's very next comment, it's an erection graph. Gojo's in the bath, keep it clean. This is a friend of mine calling at the moment. That's what that noise is.
Oh, I thought it was still you playing YouTube music.
Right. Imagine that if I get a copyright infringement for a Nokia, not a Nokia, an Android, ringtone. Micro and macro porn, take your pick. Exactly. At least it has socially redeeming value. It's bound to be a box office smash. And we're at the end of the comments. We're going to wrap up shortly. We're hitting the 2-hour mark. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. But the message to take home is it is not really okay right now to have sexy time. If you don't know how to masturbate already, the doctors are saying get onto that. You can read a sexy book. Why not write a sexy book or just watch some porn? They're the tips coming out, and that's the important information. I'm just going to refresh that page, Freddie. We'll just wrap up quickly with the current stats around the world. Yes, it has gone up, which we knew it would. I'll just screen share this just because we like to end the show with a bit of info, and then we'll wrap up with a few chuckles. But here's the current figures. 306,892 cases worldwide, 13,025 deaths. So there's 25 new deaths since we went live, and 94,798 have recovered. China, no new cases. Italy, just heartbreaking. But have a look at the USA, now in third place. It's overtaken Spain since we went live 2 hours ago. With 6,728 new cases and 68 new deaths, taking the deaths to 324. That's very sad news. But didn't I say that at the start, Freddie, that, I thought the USA could eventually become an epicenter for a while. I mean, still serious issues and figures coming out of Spain and also Germany. Iran, still bad. France, 112 new deaths in France. Freddie, please stay safe. We love you. South Korea, Switzerland is now spiking a bit, and the UK things aren't looking great. And then I'll keep scrolling down. So we've got a lot of European countries. Canada's starting to get a bit of a spike happening. But look at all of Europe, and then Malaysia, Brazil, and then there's Australia with 1,072 cases, 144 new ones, but still only 7 deaths, which is...
But did you see Italy's death rate? It's the highest it's ever been now. It's almost 800 for one day. Yes,
that's what that article was. I'll just refresh the main headlines too to see if there's any breaking things. But essentially, in Australia now, only essential travel. Italy's death toll climbed 793 in one day. New York has been declared a disaster zone.
Join Bupa because you'll get 6 weeks free on eligible products.
Sorry, guys. And
does that include toilet paper?
Announcement in Australia is they're going to use hotels because people aren't traveling and so on. They've got all these vacant hotels, so they're going to start using them as places to put people who need to be quarantined, which is a good idea, I think.
You mean mandatory quarantine or just people who need a place to stay?
No, no. Well, I think the homelessness issue is being addressed at the moment as well. So it's possible that other hotels will become accommodation for homeless people, which is also great. But that's not announced yet. But the latest announcement is they're going to put people into hotels to ease the load on hospitals and for people that need to be quarantined rather than people that need to be treated per se. So yes, that's the latest news that I can see on my little thing. But yeah, so back to sexy time, just on a wrap up. We've certainly learned a lot of new stuff today. For me, I have to say open your Google would be my new favorite euphemism for, hello boys.
Open my Google. Search for whatever you want.
Well, I liked it earlier when it was like, open your Google, put in, and I'm like, yeah, that's what she said. Ivor says, oh, hang on, everyone have a wonderful day and night. Thank you, Light Feather, and lovely having you here. Thanks for joining us. I have a problem. We've got this thing covered, folks. Stay safe, share love, not COVID. Thanks for a great show, guys. I'm off to have my after sex smoke now. That's the hardest one to give up. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. Gojo, it's truly scary. Bless them all. Still find it odd 5G first released in northern Italy soon after arriving from Wuhan.
Yeah, but didn't they have 5G in the UK before they did in Italy?
Oh, she literally is talking 5G. I wondered if 5G was short for something else.
Oh, no,
no. Okay. Emily, my heart, love and thoughts truly go out to each and every one dealing with this awful virus, from patients to loved ones, first responders, doctors, nurses, first responders. I chose to self-isolate. Thank you, Emily. And sorry you were taken straight to Browntown, but that was hilarious.
Stop it. I've ruined her sweet elderly lady reputation.
Well, if anyone in our chat can handle it, it's Emily. It's Emily. She's gorgeous. Bye from Morgan. Bye to you, Morgan. Namaste, y'all. Thank you, Emily. Bye, Richard. Give your wife a romantic evening when this virus is over. She deserves it. And yes, no nasty comments mid or afterwards. Look after each other. That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us. For those of you who have watched the replay, we hope you had some laughs as well. It started out, I can't believe it, Freddie, it started out such a heavy discussion and luckily became a lot of fun.
Isn't that how it always begins? Heavy and ends up being lots of fun.
Sure does. That's what she said. Love you guys. Take care of everyone. Remember,
bye, guys. Love you. Bye.
20. We'll see you all very soon. Bye for now. Oh, hit the like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe or dislike me.
I don't think the thumbs down's for you, Freddie.
I think it's for me more than you.
I think it's for both of us. But
Don't
we
take
appreciate
all the credit. That thumbs down is mine. I deserve it.
And on that note, namaste, everyone. Peace out. We'll speak